State Representative Jim Struzzi is in the studio with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Todd.
It's good to have you back with us today.
Thanks. Good to be here.
We had Representative Frank Ryan on with us yesterday, Republican,
Yes.
who has introduced, or I don't think he's introduced it yet, but he wants to get passed a bill that would eliminate property taxes. And he said yesterday with us on the air that the big thing about him is total elimination of property taxes. I think a lot of folks are going to agree with him on that.
Well, absolutely. You know, Frank, Representative Ryan has House Bill 13, which, you know, I've discussed that at length. We talked about it last week at the Chamber's Eggs and Issues breakfast. It does call for the total elimination of property taxes, an increase in personal income tax, an increase in the sales tax to 2%. But unfortunately, it also includes a retirement income tax. And I've had this discussion with Frank. I was a supporter of HB 13 until I saw the retirement income tax. As many will note, I shared that on my Facebook page, and I heard loud and clear from our constituents here in Indiana County that in no way, shape, or form do we want to see a retirement income tax imposed. So I appreciate Frank's effort to eliminate property taxes, which is something that I want to do along with many other state representatives, but I don't think House Bill 13 is the way to go.
Interesting to me, I was looking at income taxes in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's income tax rate is 3.07%.
Okay.
That is the 10th lowest income tax rate among all of the states that actually do tax. There are 7 states that do not tax income at all, 2 states that tax only interest income, and then the rest, which would be 38 other states, or 41 other states that do tax incomes. Pennsylvania has the 10th lowest. Listen to the California, 13.3%, Hawaii, 11%. Of the top 10, the lowest is Wisconsin at 7.65. Pennsylvania's 3.07.
Well, that's probably one of the only taxes that we'll find that we lead as far as being lowest in the country, though, unfortunately, Todd. I think, you know, our tax structures right now do drive people out of Pennsylvania. It's very difficult for young families to make it. It's very difficult for businesses that want to locate here. So I think we need to look at our overall tax structures and make them the lowest in the country and attract people back to Pennsylvania, to attract businesses back to Pennsylvania. We do have to solve this property tax issue. I'm a supporter of House Bill 76. I'm a supporter of total elimination, but we have to find a way to make this happen. 76 had some flaws in it as well, and some of the new items that were going to be taxed. I think there are some good things in Representative Ryan's bill, HB 13. There's a working group, and I don't know if Representative Ryan mentioned this yesterday, but there's a group working in Harrisburg right now, conducting hearings, trying to find the best solution to the property tax dilemma. I'm confident that we can get there. I think there's a will right now within the legislature, both in the House and in the Senate, to do something that will eliminate property taxes. What that looks like, whether it's 76 or sort of a molding or a meshing of several of these bills, but I think right now there's a will to do this. And I know that we, as a Republican caucus, at any rate, have made this one of our top priorities going into the fall session. Yeah,
I think one of the things I was reading yesterday was that even with Pennsylvania's low income tax, the burden on taxpayers in Pennsylvania is the 6th heaviest burden in all of America. So they might not get them on income taxes, but they get them in other areas, and that's what's dragging us down.
And they do. We still have one of the highest corporate net income tax rates in the country, and that drives businesses away from Pennsylvania. If we want to bring people back, we have to have jobs. We have to have a better quality of income living, I guess you could say, because when people work hard for their money, they want to have that money to be able to spend, and when you're giving it all in taxes, it makes it very hard to raise a family. I have 4 kids. I would love to see property taxes go away because that would certainly help me and many other working families. We have to spread that burden, and I do believe that raising the sales tax is one option, but we have to make sure that we're appropriately and adequately funding education. I mean, that's what it's all about. Providing a good education for our young people, providing what they need in the schools. We have to make sure that the school boards are held in check. That just because we eliminate property taxes, there isn't an increase in spending, and so there has to be a good formula to fund the schools, but we do have to take that burden off of property owners.
And we're still looking for that formula. So property tax, one of the items that will be on the fall agenda for the General Assembly. There are others, and the session is just about ready to start rolling, isn't it?
Well, there's a long list, Todd, and many of those bills are I have authored myself, and several resolutions as well. I know today that we're going to be meeting over at the White Township Fire Department to talk about the bill that I'll be introducing, House Bill 1773, that would provide a tuition assistance program for volunteer emergency responders. The catalyst behind that bill, I've spent a lot of time meeting with local fire departments over the years, really leading up to being elected. But volunteer numbers are down dramatically, in a frightening manner across Pennsylvania. So we need to find a way to give more incentive to young people to volunteer at their local fire departments, to volunteer as emergency responders. And one way to do that is to provide them some a tuition assistance if they attend a school in Pennsylvania. Now, that program would require them to serve for a number of years after they graduate, but it would help alleviate some of the cost of their tuition. And I think this could also help drive some students or more students back into the state system of higher education. So that's something that we'll be talking about today. That hearing's at 10 a.m. at the White Township Fire Department. The House Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness Committee will be here to hear that testimony. And so we have several fire chiefs from some of our local departments lined up to give testimony as well. So I'm looking forward to that. A number of other resolutions and bills that are out there. I did put out this week 2 resolutions to ask the federal government to provide some guidelines on the use of CBD products and an herbal substance known as kratom. Both those substances are out there right now. I believe they have great uses, but I don't know that there's enough guidelines out there to make sure that the consumer is getting what they need, particularly from CBD. When you see these signs popping up everywhere, CBD products sold here, but are you getting what you're paying for? There's no guidelines to say quality control. Is it going to be effective, or are you wasting your money? And then the kratom substance, I've heard from a lot of people that it's very effective at treating depression, at treating opioid addiction and pain in many cases. But unfortunately, it's also been reported to be involved in some overdose deaths. So I think we need guidelines on that also. I don't want to see it taken away from anyone. I've heard that from a lot of people. Please don't take this away because it's really helping me. But I do think that there needs to be some sort of criteria or guidelines from the federal government. When we hear about young people overdosing because of these substances, I think we need some regulation to make sure that they are being used properly and treating and helping the people that they can help.
Without that proper oversight, I think we need only look at the vaping thing that's going on right now to see how something that is not regulated or doesn't have any sort of oversight over it at all can just get out of control. Absolutely.
When these products are put out there in the market, there needs to be some safety involved. We need to make sure that what's out there isn't harmful to people, and people understand what these substances are, what they contain. And a lot of times you're buying stuff over the counter that's new into the market, into our culture, and people don't know what it is. And I think it's important that there's some understanding of what you're buying, what you're getting, and how to use it.
So your hearing today, again, is at 10 o'clock, you said?
10 a.m. at the White Township Fire Department by the mall.
All right, there you go. And that should be an interesting discussion.
Yes, I'm excited to have that committee here. It's very important, and I encourage our local fire chiefs to come out, not only give testimony on my bill, but any key issues that they have, in volunteer firefighting. There's a lot of issues with the volunteer fire departments, and we really do need more people to come out. I mean, these people are volunteers, and many times they're putting themselves in harm's way to protect our homes and protect our families. And I think we need to do everything we can to support them, reward them, and get more people to volunteer.
Yeah, like our population overall, the population of the firefighting community is aging and aging very rapidly.
It is.
Yeah, so that's a very important event. I wanted to go backtrack a little bit and highlight the fact that anybody can go to this event. You'd love to see it.
Yes, it's open to the public today, 10 a.m.
Terrific. All right, so you're going to head back to Harrisburg here in another week or so. What else are you going to be working on?
Well, there's a lot happening right now, Todd. Of course, I'll be at the Hoodlebug Festival this Sunday down in Homer City, so we'll have a table set up. We encourage people to come out and visit with us. I will have my first newsletter, should be in the mail this week, going to just about every resident in Indiana County. And if you don't get it, stop into our offices. In October, we're going to start our second round of town hall meetings. So we'll be at the Clymer Volunteer Fire Department on Tuesday, October 1st. We'll be at Brush Valley on Wednesday, October 9th. And we'll be at Creekside on Tuesday, October 15th. Those will all be at the Volunteer Fire Departments. And those will all start at 6 p.m. And then I'm once again partnering, well, I guess not once again, but for the first time, with our new Senator Joe Pittman and Representative Dush to have the Senior Expo on Thursday, October 24th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and that's going to be at the S&T Bank Arena. So a lot happening, a lot of exciting good things happening. We continue to avail ourselves to our constituents. Stop in our offices, give us a call, visit our website, repstruzzi.com, sign up for my Friday newsletter. I'm continuing to operate as transparent as I can and to make myself available for any issue that anybody has. So we're trying to do a lot to help people. An interesting number, I don't know if I shared this, but so far this year, our office has handled more than 800 constituent concerns. So my hat goes off to my staff, Adrian and Jen and Jennifer Don in Blairsville. Those ladies do a great job supporting what we do and helping the people in Indiana County.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I recall, of course, from the many years as chamber president when we would host you here. And now we have you here as state representative. Not to compare those two positions, but to compare what you thought the pace would be like when you became state representative to what the pace actually has been. Go ahead and tell me. What's it like?
It is more challenging because you are available to everyone. In the chamber, it was related to business and growing the economy. As a state representative, you represent every issue and concern that people have. And I understood that going into it. But the schedule was very demanding, and I want it to be that way. I want people to know that I'm working hard for them, that we are there for them when they need us. And that's why we're doing all these town hall meetings. That's why I try to go to every event that I can attend. I still go to all the meetings that I went to as a chamber. I still go to the Center for Economic Operations meetings, the consortium meetings, the manufacturing consortium meetings, the healthcare consortium meetings. All those meetings, I think it's so important for me to continue to have my finger on the pulse of Indiana County and make sure that, I understand what the needs and concerns are of the people I represent when I go back to Harrisburg to vote on bills and to represent, their best interest. So I take that very seriously.
It just seems to me like, wow, that is an amazingly fast pace that you have to keep just in order to keep up with the job. And then, of course, you're going to be starting the trip back and forth to Harrisburg. But you've been doing that all summer long because you go over for meetings in Harrisburg and committee sessions, and so we'll
be ramping it back up though here September 17th. We return for session. I know there's going to be a long slate of legislation that we're trying to push. As I said, I have 10 or 12 different bills out there that I'm pushing right now. A lot of things I think will help businesses, will help people, and I'm really excited to get back to Harrisburg and vote on some important legislation.
There you go. He's Representative Jim Struzzi joining us here this morning. 10 o'clock this morning, Indiana Fire Station West, right there at Warren Road and Ben Franklin Road, and you'll be there along with our House colleagues, and everybody should come.
Yes, and then this weekend's going to be another busy weekend. I'm going to try to attend some of the events at the Folk Festival, starting, I guess, on Friday and Saturday. The Ox Hill Fair is this weekend. I'm probably going to make it out there to participate in the youth auction if I'm available. And then, as I said, we'll be at the Hoodlebug Festival all day, walking in the parade, and then we'll have a table set up throughout the afternoon. So come up and say hello.
All right, very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Todd.
Voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160 and 101.1 FM.